Hey there, want to unlock your next level of productivity? Well, you are going to get so much from my conversation with Angela Neufeld, who is not only a cancer survivor and heart transplant recipient, she's also a powerful voice for simplifying your business and just doing that inner work that really leads to lasting productivity. I'm Gail Bates, and welcome to my series where I interview entrepreneurs from around the globe who make a difference in others' lives. With over 20 years of experience as a home-based entrepreneur myself, I really understand the challenges of staying organized and managing my time to avoid that dreaded overwhelm that we have as entrepreneurs. And I'm so intrigued with every entrepreneur that I interview because their unique story on how they manage their productivity and keep a balanced life is so valuable for you as an entrepreneur. We kind of learn from each other, right? So if you're ready to learn from those who actually make it happen, then hit that subscribe button and tap the bell to never miss an interview. So in this interview today, Angela shares how she sets up her workspace for focus. And if you're not feeling productive, she says you just simply have to reorganize your office because it can help you feel more energized. I love that. She also breaks down the biggest threat to your productivity. What is it? Distractions. And I love how she offers that just clear insight into how removing them can radically change what you get done in a day. And the one thing that really stood out for me in this interview was her reminder that as entrepreneurs, we must have things to offer, and that putting ourselves out there is essential to growing a thriving business. Now, she also gives you permission to pivot, which is to shift your direction when you need to, and to let go of things that no longer serve you. You are going to love this conversation. It's packed with insight on the power of inner work and practical simplicity. So let's get into it. It's so lovely to meet with you, and thanks so much for being on my Entrepreneurs Who Work From Home series. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
And I didn't ask you, where are you from? Where do you hail from?
I'm up here right now. It's sunny, beautiful BC, Canada. I'm up north.
Great.
In the icy cold winters and beautiful hot summers. So I'm pretty lucky.
Yes, it is.
All the seasons.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, I love to kick off this series and this interview we talked a little bit about your daily routine and your productivity, maybe your golden hours of productivity, but how does like a typical day start for you in your business?
For me, I utilize the morning time as my highest productive time because in the morning I have the most energy because we've talked about how I have had a health crisis for a few years. And so I've learned to kind of notice where I'm most productive and I kind of fade off. And so I really try and utilize those morning hours as best I can. That's when I have the gusto to kind of get things done. And then it peters off after about 2:00 in the afternoon. And then I spend time with my 4 chihuahuas and my husband and children and things like that. But in the morning, I really find that's my time to get a lot of stuff done and recenter, make some lists and things like that.
Right. Yeah. And you do you structure your day that way with lists? Do you work from a to-do list? How does that work for you?
Yes, I totally work from a to-do list, but I do not do time blocks. I don't structure any of my day. I have overall projects that I want to get done, but I don't do everything like the typical, I can't work like that. I have to have some creativity. I have to have that creative flow where I feel, and those moments where I get really in my flow, I'll work right into the evening, even if I'm tired, and just keep going and almost have to get somebody to stop me, go to bed because I'm so into it. But then, so that's kind of how I work. It's very
I think that's how most of us entrepreneurs are who work from home. We feel like we have all the time in the world, but then something really lights us up and we go, oh my gosh, I got to keep going. I got to get this finished, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think others who are watching this would totally agree with you. Okay. And so, how do you work? Do you take time off for yourself, or do you work mostly only mornings, or how does that work for you?
I take a lot of time for myself. I think that in order to, I always talk about, the old saying, you got to fill your cup and feel, yeah. So I always talk about creating and giving and doing from the overflow. So I always, and for years I didn't. I just ran, burning candle at both ends, wearing myself right down to the absolute nothing. And I've learned over the years that through my health that this is not the way to work, and that this can't continue on. This isn't sustainable. And so I definitely do things for myself to stay in tuned. And I'll just, like this last weekend, I took the whole weekend off from social media and things just to recenter, because I'd had a rough 3 weeks leading up to that. I had some procedures going, I had some family things. And so then my business I have all this stuff I got to do. And I was kind of right in the middle of it in my flow, and bang, stuff happens. Never when we expect it, never a good time, like we talked about. And so I just always have ongoing things happening, and I always try and take breaks and take walks in nature and do things for myself and go make a cup of tea and do this and that, just to kind of get myself just taking care of myself and noticing and being so self-aware when I am tired and like it's time to stop.
That is critical, noticing it, right? Mm-hmm. Noticing when it's time to stop, and have a cup of tea, which I love to do myself. Yeah.
Yes.
So I noticed behind you, you have a whiteboard. Do you use that a lot in your business? Do you use it, share with people your information?
Well, actually, I just got it because I felt so inspired to get this whiteboard. I thought I want to start teaching off of some of my stuff that from my program on the whiteboard, because when I was doing it virtually on Zoom, I just felt that this would be such a great teaching tool. I haven't done it with clients yet, but I've been using it for all of my notes. I've been using it to brainstorm. I've been using it to kind of I have all sorts of different things.
I love it. Yeah, I used to always use one. So I was looking at it, going, "Oh my gosh!" They're so great to have, and especially when you're teaching and sharing information with others, and just doing it online with that right behind you is just brilliant. I love that.
Well, and I'm such a paper and pen person that I find that this funny. I was just talking about this yesterday in the group, but paper and pen, I'm not, that's why I don't do the scheduling and the blocks of time and things. I just don't like doing things on yes, I love the computer and all the things, but I don't like doing journaling on a computer. I need that tangible pen and paper. So I feel like the whiteboard is so great for that, because I can just get out all of my thoughts, and then you just buy a new paper pad and stick it on there, or you can use the dry erase thing underneath of it. It's going to be fantastic. And I don't even know if I'll teach from it. I know I will one day, but right now I'm just enjoying using it to brainstorm and project plan.
I love it. And it looks great in your office. Tell me a little bit more about how you have set your office space up for productivity for you.
So this is funny, but I'm constantly reorganizing my office. I turn it to the window, and then I move my desk over here, and then I move my desk over there, and I try and find the right spot. Now I think I've got the right spot. Originally, I put my desk this way, right under the window for natural light for filming. And it was so bright, I looked like a white sheet and my eyes looked all funny. So I'm like, okay, that's too much light. And so I just kind of angled it. I've got a ring light on me right now. And I've got another desk right next to this one with a standing desk and a walking pad. So when I have energy in the morning, the first 30 minutes I do after I have a cup of coffee or whatever is I'll go check my emails, and I'll do some light walking on my walking pad, because a lot of times it's too cold in the winter here to go outside.
Right. Yeah.
So then I can start keeping the movement going. And so, and then I just have my big bookcase and some organizing stuff behind me. But I have art supplies absolutely everywhere, and crafty stuff, because that's what I love to do.
You set it up for you, and it helps you be efficient, and it helps you focus. And I think that's what us entrepreneurs, we all need to think about, and I'm sure us entrepreneurs that are watching this today are thinking, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea to have, your walking pad over there. And it's a great idea to have that, whiteboard behind you. And so I think just learning from each other on what makes us efficient in the space we have is really important as well. Right?
Yeah. And I think that it's important to also to give yourself space to like, if you're feeling stuck, just reorganize your office, clean it, turn things around, move stuff, and all of a sudden it starts feeling good and you feel more productive. That's, for me, that's how if I feel really stuck and overwhelmed and I got way too much clutter going on, I stop everything and just start rearranging or clean it up. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm coming back down. I can do this now,
Now, you have a lovely Skool group. So tell us a little bit, and it's all about journaling, right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's not just journaling, but it's called Create, Heal, Shine, doing the inner work. So journaling is a huge part of that, but also it's a lot to do with mental health and productivity and getting things done and doing the inner work, doing that really important inner work. Because I find that a lot of new coaches and entrepreneurs set out on this mission and we all have these big dreams and goals and we want to do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it comes to crunch time and we're too scared to do the thing, or we're too scared to be up public or be on a video or feel like a failure and try something new. And so there's so much of that inner work that needs to go on inside to be able to kind of do all the things you want. And so that's what I teach a lot of, is a lot of people are writing books, entrepreneurs, starting small businesses. And some of them are just people that have big dreams and goals and want to get some passion about what's next and feel more purposeful and try and figure out what's next for them, or get unstuck from some place that challenges and circumstances they've been through so they can get back on the path of whatever they were doing. So that's the whole group is kind of like doing that inner work so that you can move forward.
We will definitely put that information in the description below as well. So where do you think you invest, your time? What do you think is the biggest impact of where you put your time in your business? How does that work for you? Can you share some kind of strategy that's really been successful for you?
Yes. The most important thing that I focus on now that I didn't focus on in the early years is removing all the distractions, turning off the phone, and doing the thing that we want to do, getting stuff done, creating the content that you want to put out there, doing the actual thing and not getting caught up in all of the busy stuff that means nothing. And then months go by and you have not making any money in your business and you're wondering why. It's because you have to put out offers. You have to have things to offer. If you're a business, you have to be selling something. And that is like a part that is so key that we get lost in all the little things because they can be so fun and I'm working on all these things, but then we don't share them. So creating instead of consuming so much, and also putting yourself out there and sharing the stuff that you're creating.
Yeah, we call that a lot of revenue generating activities. It's really paying attention to that, and that's exactly what you just described. Mm-hmm. Knowing exactly when you're working on something, is this going to bring in any revenue, or am I just, as you say, consuming and not getting things done? And I think that's such important advice for entrepreneurs who work from home as well. What about challenges for you? Do you have any specific challenges that you work with? I'm sure there's some health restrictions for you, but anything that really comes to mind for you as far as challenges in growing your business?
Yeah, I think the thing we touched on earlier is knowing when you are at your best peak of performance time, and knowing what time of day it is and utilizing that and not wasting it on the other stuff that doesn't matter so much, because you can catch up on things in the evening. Like sometimes I'll bring my computer on my lap while my husband and I are watching a show or something and get some little things done, but I'll use that peak productivity time to be creating and doing stuff and not trying to have less distractions. And then I think challenges is not being overwhelmed, because there's so much stuff out there, and it's so easy to get just consumed with doing and watching things and scrolling and making. I mean, you can make a million lists, but if you're not going to actually start chipping away at them, you're not getting anywhere, right? So those things are kind of really important.
Very important to pay attention to it, right?
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing, super important. Hang on a sec. Have your vision board.
Oh, right. Yes.
So I think that for years I didn't do this. Well, years ago I did it, and then for years I took a break, and then I felt really passionate about doing it again this year. And we had like this vision board workshop where we were like layering all these things.
Oh, I love the layers.
So
that's great.
Yeah, it is so funny how I can look at this and be like, okay, so I've done this, and it's almost like you're looking at your board. Well, everyone knows what a vision board is nowadays, but I like, again, to have a actual one. I don't want a digital one. I want a real one with like words and cutouts and things, because all of a sudden I'll find myself looking at things and see that, oh my gosh, we did that. That actually happened subconsciously. You're constantly looking at it and noticing how many of those things that have happened and have passed, and you don't even realize you're doing it. So having that focus and that vision of the future and all the things that you want can really be motivating and inspiring as you're plunking away at stuff.
It's true. I've gotten away from it. I used to teach vision board workshops myself, and it just seems you do get away from it, but there is something about the cutting and the pasting and the having that, and I love the way you've all the layers that you've added to it, and looking at it and going, oh my gosh, this did happen, right? That's really brilliant. You're making me want to go back to doing it again. Okay.
Oh, and this is the first layer that was really fun, is all writing. Like you write your big vision of things that you want to do, and then you cover them with all of the things, the images. And so it's really interesting, because things will just get checked off the list without you even really noticing that you've been focused on checking it off the list, just by having it being surrounded by things that are uplifting and goals and dreams and things. Yeah. So I think it's very powerful. So
it is very. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, because I've been interviewing a lot of people and we haven't talked about a vision board at all. And I'm so glad you brought this up. I think this will really be helpful for a lot of entrepreneurs to realize that this is a fabulous tool to use in your business. Yeah. But technology, plays a big role in running a business these days. So do you have any tools or apps or platforms? I know you use Skool, but that you would recommend or that you use?
Skool is my favorite. I have this new favorite that I found for Instagram, which is called Beacons. And it's only, if you know what Linktree is, how Linktree, just one click and you can get all the things. Well, Beacons, you can have one click to Beacons, and then it lists out all the things like Linktree, except that it's more powerful, and you can create websites and sales pages and take you right to all of your links and your courses. And you can actually host and put the things, like when you downloaded my workbook, that was hosted there. And so you upload all the items right into that platform, and it's like it's like really, what's the word? It's all encompassing. So it's really neat. I like that tool. That's my new favorite thing. And then, yes, the Skool platform, because you can host your courses, you can have a community, you can lock different courses so people can come in and only buy specific things. And then I have the paid community and a free community, so you can have diverse different products. And by having two separate communities, so if you have a program that's private where I wanted the reason I have two is because the programs that I put in there, I want a separate feed. I don't want the feed to be in the main community. I want it to be private. It's more therapeutic because as I'm a professional counselor, so I want to keep things in a safe container where people can be open, and it's not just open to everybody in the free community. And so that's a really powerful way of doing things.
That's really helpful. I love the way you've set that up as well. I'm sure that the people who are in the paid community enjoy that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're the ones that inspired me to do that, because I thought I'm not a fan of Facebook groups. They're clunky, and they don't, you click something, and if you scroll away, you're right out of the group already. It is just not, I'm just never been a fan of it. And so when I found out about Skool, I thought, oh, this is so interesting. They're not being enticed by ads. They're coming there for a reason. They're checking in, they're communicating with other people, they're doing their work, and they're posting things, and it's private. And you have that safe container of everyone in there can comment and see the stuff, but nobody else outside of that can. So it's you can make it however you want.
Yeah. I think that's how you and I met, actually, through Skool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. I'm not sure what group, but
I'm not sure what group either.
One of the groups.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about collaboration and networking as part of a strategy for your business. Any specific ways you collaborate or you network?
Nowadays, I am doing things like podcasts, which is how I met you, and clicking on different collaboration opportunities, sharing different people's products in my email list. I do that very low key, though. Like, I don't take on a lot of them because I don't want to burn my email list out. I want my emails are very important to me. On how I come across, but I do that collaborations with some of them if they are in line with my business.
Okay.
And I'm finding that really helpful. I used to years ago be part of the BNI where it was in person. Remember those days? And
I do.
I just miss those days so much. And so I've started looking on LinkedIn and doing different things. But right now, those are the two areas that I'm kind of networking, is hoping to do podcast interviews and collaborations with other people. And then one big thing on my list that I really want to do is participate in some different summits. So
summits are great to participate in. Yeah.
I've done a couple of those in the past, and I found them really fun. So I'm looking to kind of do more of that in the future. I find that you can be part of it, or you can just be an affiliate to it.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's important, but that's good for others to know too, that these are the options that can help them grow their business. And obviously it's working for you, right?
Yeah. And there's so many different things that you could pick from and do and join forces with people. But I'm trying to really keep my business simple. I want to just simplify and streamline everything that I've been doing, because I find that it's just so much better for mental health when you don't have all these crazy stuff going on and employees and things. I've had businesses where I've had lots of employees before, and I just told myself in those moments, never, ever again am I going down that road. It's not happening. Everything I do is going to be simplified and as small as I can keep it until I have to add those people and keep expansion going.
And I think that's such important advice for entrepreneurs, because, delegating is one thing, but keeping it simple. So, and there are simple ways to do it, right? Like, finding the Skool platform that makes things pretty simple that you can actually do yourself, right? So exactly. I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to understand that you don't have to invest a lot, and if you just keep it simple.
Yes, and I'm always looking at where can I cut different products out? What have I been paying for over the month
Right.
that I can get rid of? Like, can some if something is, and I don't want to do constantly changing things or anything. So now that I've got Skool, what now I can like eliminate different things. I can eliminate. So what can I use less products? And that's why when I found the beacons thing, I thought, oh, this is so great. I can get rid of a couple different things here, save some money here, and simplify. So I'm always looking for ways to either cut costs or simplify my business, just so my brain thinks better that way.
Yeah. And I love it. I love it. I just did a whole big look at my own business in that respect and got rid of a lot of things that I was just paying for every month and wasn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy what we don't even, a lot of times stuff will be going on and renew, and I won't even remember something until I get a renewal notice, and then it's too late.
Too late. Exactly. You have to pay attention to that, right? So now I'm going to switch things up a little here. Tell me a little about your goal setting process. How do you approach setting goals for you in your business?
So I have the vision board. That's my big goals on there. And then I don't have a big plan. I don't have a big structured plan. Like I said, I'm very creative. I'm multi-passionate, and I feel like I need to kind of like when I get a download, act on that or write it down or save that idea. And so I basically work from backwards. So when I have this idea of how I kind of want my year to look, what all is my year going to consist of? And then I take those projects and kind of break them down into doable things. And I don't have a strict timeline. I have big goals of, yes, what I want to accomplish, but I don't have a timeline on them. And for me, that just works. For some people, that would never work because they might not do the thing, but I'm very driven person. So I will work on it. And then I also find having some space to be creative and free allows for like, you to change your mind and be like, that just doesn't fit anymore. This course or idea I had in my mind doesn't really flow with where I'm going, and I'm allowed to follow the flow. And so that's how I do things, and that's
I love that because as entrepreneurs, that seems to happen in our business. We get on a path, and then for some reason, it's not quite working, and it's okay to change a little direction to make it work for you. I think that we have to give ourselves that permission. Don't you agree?
Yes. Allow yourself to pivot too. If you're feeling like you just have some channeling some beautiful thought or idea and you feel so good about it, you're allowed to kind of change directions. It doesn't have to be drastic. I mean, sometimes it can be, but it doesn't have to be. But just allowing space for creativity and flow to change things is so important, because I know for a lot of people, they like structure and a plan and a concrete everything. And I do like a plan and a strategy of what I'm going to do, but I'm open to what things are going to be done on it.
I think I'm pretty similar, actually, because I find that I do like a plan and a structure, but I find that if I let it sit a minute, like you said, be open, things change, and it kind of directs us in another, way or another direction. But it's all for the good that we are going to accomplish that goal, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah. And when you follow what feels good, it's the direction. Like I'm listening to my intuition. I'm staying quiet enough and listening to like, which way should I go? Where am I going with this? And being open to those things, then it flows and it feels so good. And when we decide that we're doing this thing and we got to stick with it exactly, and we can't go off of this, and then we wonder, and then it doesn't work and it bombs, and I spent so much time doing that. I mean, that can happen with anything, even the thing that you think everyone's going to love because you love it, and they don't, and then you're disappointed. But just having that allowing to just follow the lead of your intuition and the direction, and be able to you're allowed to change your mind at any time with anything.
I'm sure you share that with all your clients, do you?
Yes. 100%. Yeah. slow and steady wins
Yeah.
the race. Racing and craziness, I don't think. I'm just not for the hustle, the grind part. I'm not
Right.
about that. If it's going too quick, we can't hear the right direction.
Right. And you talk a lot in your information, and I loved your lead magnet that I downloaded as well. It has such great information. And then you talk about the understanding the patterns of missed opportunities. Talk to me a little bit about that.
The patterns of missed opportunities. So where that came from is, so that workbook was created as part of my self-paced program called the Sacred Reset. And so then I decided to use that as a lead magnet because I thought, this is powerful. This book is so good and so juicy and so meaty that I should just share this as a lead magnet. So yeah, and part of that program is about resetting and recalibrating and restarting. And so it's all about noticing different patterns within us, and all of these patterns that we're doing over and over and over. Some of them are beautiful patterns that we're recreating from something, making something new. And some of them are old and need to be looked at and need to be adjusted or changed or reprogrammed, because the mind loves to go to what's familiar constantly, right? And so it wants to bring us back to this, usually this negative pattern that we're doing. And so we're always working on reprogramming that subconscious mind so that we can put in a pattern and plug in a pattern that is working for us, that's helping us. And all throughout this process of resetting, we're looking at all the different opportunities that are around us, that when we're too busy and life is crazy and we're, social media and the world, everything's very loud and crazy. And if we don't take the time to be still and quiet, we can miss a lot of these opportunities. And there's opportunities within all of these patterns for change. So being willing to also go there, do the inner work, peel back some of these layers and be willing to look at what's underneath and which direction we want to go and what benefits us, instead of just allowing ourselves to stay in this cycle of something that we're not even aware of, that's holding us back from so many things, can be really powerful.
Great. You've described it beautifully. And I think people that are watching and listening to this will really want to download that lead magnet as well, because it was very powerful when I read it as well. I love it.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. I love that.
How about professional development? I always love to ask this question, how do you continue to grow as an entrepreneur yourself? I mean, do you have any book recommendations or a podcast that you love that you'd like to share, or just something that really helps you continue with your own professionalism?
Well, as you can see, I love books.
Yeah.
I love books. Some of them I haven't read. Most of them I have. Magazines I love. I love the days where we used to page through magazines and it was real paper, now you can hardly find a magazine anymore.
I know.
But I just love books. So books are really inspiring to me. YouTube's really inspiring to me. Podcasts I'm finding new ones all the time. I couldn't say my favorite, mind you, but the book that I'm reading right now is called The Myth of Normal by Gabor Maté. And he's actually, I'm in British Columbia and he lives like 8 hours from me, which is where I grew up. And he's just an absolute amazing therapist, and he's just so full of wisdom. And maybe that's my third time reading it, because I've also read the online downloaded version so many times. And I just love that. He's amazing. His insights and thoughts. The book is the whole book is just like 6 months of therapy.
we'll be sure to mention that book in the description below as well. It's always great. I always love to ask that question because we learn. I mean, I've never heard of it, so we all learn from helping each other out, right? With books and podcasts and professional development that are helping each one of us. Because as entrepreneurs, I think we are very attracted to learning and learning from others and knowing what is, like the way you describe that, it's really helpful for you how, you've read it 3 times. I mean, that's a great way to share something that would be helpful for others. So I love it. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, would there be one piece of advice or maybe a key lesson that you've learned that you'd like to share with your fellow entrepreneurs working from home?
I think the most important thing as an entrepreneur is doing the inner work. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants a strategy, but if you do not do the mindset, you will not be able to pull off the strategy and make the sales. And I always tell everybody that the only place you need to go is inward, because that is where everything is. And if you're struggling through something and things feel hard or something comes up and you don't have the confidence or you're doubting yourself or whatever that is, the imposter syndrome, or some of us will sabotage all of ourselves, do all this beautiful, wonderful work, and it just sits here on the computer and doesn't go anywhere. And or all of the stuff within you're not sharing to the world because we're so filled with all of this self-doubt and things, because all this stuff stems from when we're younger and going through school and doing all these things, and we have all these attachments to things and they carry forward with us. And sometimes we don't know until we are willing to do the inner work. So when you are willing to go inward and kind of pick this apart a little bit, all these things that might be holding you back, you can just make huge strides. Because there was a time when I didn't even I could not make a video. I would just delete it. I would start and delete and start and delete. Now I don't care anymore, because I think you also come to a certain time in your life. And for me, after my health crisis, sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom over and over, more than once sometimes, for people to be able to say, what do I have to lose? Yeah. Like, why do we care so much what other people think? There's always going to be people that don't jive with us. We can't be everybody's perfect peach pie. Right. Why don't we just do whatever we want to do, and the right people will come and the wrong ones will be repelled. And just go for it. Life is too short. Life is so short. This isn't a warm-up round. This is it.
This is it.
We only got one go. So why hide in the shadows? Why not just be you? Speak your truth and
I love it. Very, very powerful advice. And I'm so wonderful. I'm so happy that you shared that with us today. So now tell us a little bit more about your business, okay? The people who you serve and where people can connect with you and any products and services that you offer.
Oh boy, that's a biggie. Okay, first of all, you can find me on the Skool platform at Create, Heal, Shine, the inner work. And then I have a paid community called the Skool of Purpose. And that is where I house all of my paid programs. So when you join the Skool of Purpose, you get almost everything that I do. You don't get one-on-one and certain programs that I come out with, but almost everything else, like a little academy of learning. And so that's all in there. And then there's also, I have my main program in there is called Pain to Purpose, the Journey Back to Self. And that's kind of like the cornerstone program for everybody and entrepreneurs to go to do all that inner work so that you can be able to, put yourself out there and do all the things and hit all the goals and dreams and do all the stuff you want to do. And so those are and then the Sacred Reset is a really important program. And that's like a self-paced program where we have live calls all the time. And then I have a YouTube channel called Create, Heal, Shine. And of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram at that, and LinkedIn, and pretty much everywhere else you can, anywhere else. I'm not a big super TikTok or anything, but I really love YouTube. I really love my community, and that's where I spend most of my time.
Tell us a little bit about your journal that you have developed. Share with us.
Sure, I'm happy to. So it's called the Emotional First Aid Journal Workbook, and it's quite a big workbook, and there's a lot of pages. And since we're talking about productivity and things like that, there's lots of trackers and habit trackers and task trackers and goals and different things like that. But there's also a lot of information and journal prompts on healing and mending, emotional wellness, reflective journal prompts and things like that. So yeah, it's available on Amazon, and I can definitely give your viewers the link.
Great. Well, we will definitely put that in the description below as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for letting me share.
I love it. We'll be putting all of those links down below in the description for everybody to connect with you. So I just want to thank you so much for being on this series today. It's been just a delight getting to know you and learning more. And you've just given us some great advice. And, with all the professional expertise that you have, and I know people will be wanting to learn more about what you do as well. So thank you so much for being on today, Angela.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you so much. It's been fun.
Have you stepped away from vision boards like I did? Angela really inspired me to get back to mine. And I love how she described writing out her vision first and then layering those pictures over her goals. And you can see her in that video lifting up those layers on the board, which is such a powerful and visual reminder of what she's working towards. And I loved how simple her strategy for growth was. Just 2 words: collaboration and community. So she grows her audience and supports others by sharing fellow entrepreneurs' products in her email list. That's really a win-win. And her advice about mindset really hit me hard. If you don't do that inner work, the strategies alone won't get you the result. You've got to be aligned, authentic, and in your truth. So if you're ready for a reset, be sure to check out her Sacred Reset program. She's going to help you recalibrate, peel back those layers, and really find your next step forward. And don't miss her Emotional First Aid Journal. I thought that was really neat. And it is available on Amazon. It looks like a beautiful tool to guide your self-discovery. So is it time for you to do your own inner work? Let me know what resonated most for you in this interview in the comments below. And I'll see you on the next video.